The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions.
It's over! Fly, Eagles, fly!
Celebrate the big win with the official licensed Super Bowl champions gear. Available now at NFLshop.com.
The Eagles win it! Super Bowl 59!
From jerseys to hats to must-have collectibles, we've got everything you need to rep your team with pride. Don't wait. These styles won't last. Shop now at NFLshop.com and gear up like a champion.
This Saturday, February 22nd at 1:30 p.m. Eastern, it's the Pro Volleyball Federation's first All-Star match. The league's biggest stars will clash in a can't-miss event hosted in the Indy metro area, home of the Indy Ignite. Catch every serve, spike, and save live on CBS. Don't miss this historic showdown of volleyball's finest. The Pro Volleyball Federation All-Star Match, this Saturday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern on CBS. Be there.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Why should anybody aspire to be a common man, an average man? Do you realize what it means to be average? That means you're the best of the lousiest, and the lousiest of the best. Now, if we demand more and more for producing less and less, while the have-not nations encourage and inspire and indeed require hard work and maximum effort, if we deify the common men while they encourage and reward the uncommon ones, well, the end result of such a lopsided race as that is too obvious to require elaboration.
I love hippity-hop music. I love hippity-hop music.
Les who? The her.
How can we get back on the right track?
Brett Favre said I'm tired of Brett Favre. He's a rude.
Just when I think you couldn't possibly be any dumber, you go and do something like this.
And totally redeem yourself!
Super Bowl, homeboy.
Yes! Take that! This is not Detroit, man. This is the Super Bowl.
Border battle.
He's the clown from Brown. He's the fourth in the north. This is the common man, Dan Cole.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Drum begins in 5, actually, through, but 5 sounds like more than 4, 2, 1. Greetings, good afternoon, ack, and dak, act you and yours. It's your password for tomfoolery and skullduggery. Yeah. It'll also gain you admittance into a meeting of the Loyal Order of Water Buffalo. Ooh la la, ooh la la. Do you know what that reference is? That's from the Flintstones. You ever watch Flintstones?
Oh, I used to love the Flintstones.
Did you love it when you were a kid or after you started getting high? One of my favorite lines of all time, I don't remember the movie. It's Bill Murray, and he's sitting on the couch, and he's watching the Flintstones, and he goes, Might have been, I don't remember. It could have been Caddyshack. I don't think somebody goes, Barney Rubble, what an actor. How good of a line is that?
That's so good.
Barney Rubble, what an actor.
No, when I was growing up, my family had an on and off again relationship with cable, no pun intended.
Right.
But there was a Boomerang, before there was the Boomerang channel, there was a Boomerang like hour or two on Cartoon Network early in the morning. They'd show Looney Tunes, the Jetsons, Johnny Quest, Flintstones.
Are you a Johnny Quest guy?
Oh, I loved Johnny Quest. That was my jam.
There are many dangers, Dr. Quest, in the wilderness. Not the most of them to be Loup Garou. Remember when the werewolf guy put on the costume?
Oh, yeah. Dude, that was my stuff.
Why do you send the wolf on to Blackie LeBlanche? Who did you tell that I am the wolf? I didn't tell anybody. That is good for you.
I can't believe it. I'm looking at it right now. It was only 26 episodes.
It ran 1 year.
Wow.
It was simply brilliant.
That much of an impact.
Literally, I turned Deuce and baby brother Peter on. Think about this. Deuce is 22. I'm 66. When he comes to town, we still watch episodes of Johnny Quest.
That's awesome.
Oh, it's so good. It's such a great cartoon. We go between Johnny Quest and regular show.
Regular show. I haven't watched it in too long.
You know who else likes it? Kara.
Oh, really?
I had no idea. She was filming. She was in studio here, right? She filmed a little bit on me, a day in the life of the common man on the show with me, sitting at the computer, going to the bathroom, eating my lunch on the air. It's like a 2-minute bit that we ran on KFAN. One of our social, I don't get any of that stuff, right? But
right. So
she's sitting behind me, and I've got my phone, and she saw that my wallpaper, my main screen, whatever that's called, it's a picture of Benson. And she goes, what's that on your phone? I go, it's Benson. She couldn't believe that a 66-year-old boomer would have Benson. And I said, well, you know who he is? She goes, of course I did. So this morning.
Was it just regular Benson or Party Benson?
No, Party Benson. Party Benson. Then they clone him. The best part of regular shows, which kind of start out, if you can call a cartoon, where you have a talking blue jay and a talking raccoon, regular plots. But then the second half would morph into just this bizarre, like an acid trip. Yeah. Right? It would just be bizarre. And so, they've kidnapped Benson because he was great at starting a party. And the company was called Party Starters. And they cloned him. And if you didn't have a party, the best part's when Rigby calls up and he goes, yeah, Party Starters. I'm a low-level loser, and I'm having trouble getting the party started. What's my name? Mordecai. And Mordecai punches him, right? Great show.
It's such a good show. I love when somebody just randomly gets blown up. Oh.
How good is this?
Look at that. Oh, yeah, that's sweet.
It's Mordecai and Rigby doing the woo. I wore it today.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. So, where was I going with this?
Johnny Quest.
Is it legal to smoke dope in Minnesota?
It's legal.
It is legal.
It's legal as far as I know.
Yeah. I mean, they pass laws, right? They have dispensaries and people.
Well, you can't buy them yet. They don't have the dispensaries yet. Yeah. It's been a weird bit. It was supposed to start, I think, in January, and now it keeps getting pushed back. I think it's something tied with the sports gambling bit somehow. But yeah, it's legal to have and possess and grow, but there's nowhere to really buy it.
I did not realize that. I thought you could buy it all over town now. See, because I don't partake anymore. That was back in the old days.
You don't?
No, I quit that.
But you still grab a drink or two every once in a while, right?
I gave that up too. I don't need to alter my mind to have a good time. Can you imagine me altered? I'm goofy enough now. You can't imagine back then. You've never been high on the air, have you?
No, not on these airwaves, no.
I did twice, and I never would do it again. The first time I was in Wyoming. It was a Saturday.
Yeah.
And I'd never done it before. And I just thought, well, what would it be like,
It's the worst.
Worst. You're like getting ready to open the microphone, and you're not sure what you're going to say. You crack the mic, and I got it. And, of course, you turn it off, and you go, everybody knows I'm high.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you're panicking already.
I think everybody knows I'm high, and I'm going to get fired now, And I just couldn't wait to come down. It was awful. And then the next time I tried it, I'm in Texas. It's Christmas Day. We're just playing Christmas music on reel-to-reels, right? Mm-hmm. So I thought, well, this would be safe because I don't even have to talk, Still freaked out. I got the right reel going. I forgot. Then I got to get the other. Oh, I hated it.
You get paranoid about everything.
Everything.
It's the worst. I did it when I was on the U airwaves a couple of times, and I had nothing.
No, I was drunk on the air one time.
Were you really?
Oh, the boss was so mad. Jimmy Ray Carroll, may he rest in peace, the guy that allowed me to make mistakes. He took me under. It was my last radio stop. If it didn't work, I was going to quit because I'd been fired from 3 of the first 4 jobs I'd been to. Mm-hmm. So I go to Kemmer, Wyoming, sight unseen. I've told these stories on the air before, but you've never heard them. So, and you know what it is? It's a Fed Up Friday. That's FedEx and UPS together. It's a Fed Up Friday, so we're just mailing it.
I like
here,
that,
right?
yeah.
So,
got our ink quills out.
I'm in Kemmer, Wyoming, and I'm broadcasting live from Evanston, 50 miles away, at their annual chili cook-off. I'm one of the judges. You ever been to a chili cook-off?
No, that sounds amazing, though. I love me some chili.
Oh, man, you walk up and down, there's just booth after booth after booth, and just in all the different kinds of chilies, green chili, this chili. The one thing when real chili aficionados, no beans. You know that, right?
Oh, really?
No beans. If you can't, I don't know of a chili cook-off in the country that would allow beans. No, we don't allow.
It's fraudulent chili if you got beans.
You do not have beans. Now, my wife makes a terrific chili. It's lit. But she has beans in it. And I don't mind having beans in it, but you couldn't take that to a chili cook-off. You'd get disqualified right away, right? So I'm there, and of course, I'm tempted to have a couple of beers, right? And I'm just doing, I'm not doing an entire show. They're just going, let's go to the Evanston Chili Cook-Off and go to Dan Cole. Dan, how's it going out there? Hey, we're having a great time. Love to see you out here. We got 50, 60 different participants. Come on down. Try some, trying to generate some interest in it, right?
Yeah.
Well, there's a guy from the Evanston radio station that's there, too, and we start talking with each other, right? And my boss, Jimmy Ray, had been there at the beginning of it. Jimmy Ray's a good old boy from Texas, right? So he just says about halfway through, right, it's all under control. You're doing a good job. I'm going back to, it's 50 miles away, so about an hour drive, right? In Wyoming, a little less than that. So he starts heading back. Well, now I'm starting to get pretty looped, right? So I invite the Evanston radio guy on me with me, and I've got a pretty good buzz. I had a grand old time here. And Jimmy turned around in his car and came back.
It was that serious.
It was that serious. Let's just say he goes, what the? And he was a good old boy from down in Texas. I think he was originally from Tyler, Texas. And he goes, what the hell are you doing? I go, I just broadcast live. Now, and that's why I like Jimmy Ray, because in many cases, it was a fireable offense. Yeah. If I would have been fired, it's not like I could have defended myself there. And he could have fired me, but he liked me too much. Plus, I worked cheap and did everything at the radio station. It's hard to keep guys in small markets like that. No one wants to go to Kemmer, Wyoming, in the middle of nowhere, right?
Right.
And work for peanuts and just there's nothing to do except drink and do radio. Drink and do radio, drink and do radio, drink and do radio. That's all there is to do out there, right? So he wasn't really going to fire me, but there was several other incidents he probably could have let me go for as well, but that was one of the worst ones. Why did I think it was a good idea to get bombed on the air?
Right. That sounds like an even worse idea than being high on the air.
Let's go to Dan the Chili Cook-Off. Yeah, we're having a great time. Yeah, the Chili Cook-Off. Come on, let's have some chili and have a couple of beers. And Bill from our competitor radio station, we're having a good time. Bill and Bill's bombed.
It's like the reverse of when you're high on the air, though, because you're like, I just nailed that.
Yes,
nobody knows that I'm drunk right now.
No, that's exactly right. Except my boss, who's gripping the steering wheel harder and harder, has to do a U-turn in the middle of 189.
He's driving like Vin Diesel in Fast and the Furious to get you off the radio.
So lucky. Oh, man. Did you watch hockey last night?
I watched a little bit of it, yeah. I ended up falling asleep before the end, which is unfortunate because I heard the end was pretty sweet. But I
forgot it was on last night. I missed the entire thing. So I guess we won't talk about that because we don't know anything about it.
We didn't see it.
Biggest sporting, Lavelli Neal said it was the biggest sporting event of the century.
Of the century?
Of the century. Well, of course, this century just started 25 years ago, but still, he thought it was the biggest game in the century, and I missed it. What a bad break for me. But we have other things we can talk about because did you watch the SNL 50th anniversary?
I did, indeed.
Okay, good. I want to talk to you. Got a couple of things, music that I want to talk to you about because I didn't see it. I missed that, too. What a bad break for me. I was sorting socks that night, but a couple of the music things I want to get your opinion on. So we'll do that. I got a couple of football notes for you.
Oh.
2 notes. Both involve the Lions, but one of them involves the Lions and the Vikings.
Oh, controversial?
Very controversial. We'll get to those and others. Don't forget, we've got Program Password. Lil B at 1. Bevan Touch at 1:30. And then Vaughn from KDWB, right, along with Muss?
Yes, sir. All-star lineup.
Please tell me I don't have Muss. I mean, I'd love to have Muss as my partner, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. But right now, we'll take a short break. Got a keyword? Are we putting $1,000 in somebody's hand, my boy? I think we are.
I do indeed have a keyword. The fan wants to give you a shot to put $1,000 in your hand. Enter the keyword Bills at KFAN.com now for your shot at winning. That's keyword Bills. Enter it now at KFAN.com.
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions.
It's over! Fly, Eagles, fly!
Celebrate the big win with the official licensed Super Bowl champions gear. Available now at NFLShop.com.
The Eagles win it! Super Bowl 59!
From jerseys to hats to must-have collectibles, we've got everything you need to rep your team with pride. Don't wait. These styles won't last. Shop now at NFLShop.com and gear up like a champion.
Check out our contest page to see how you can enter to win a pair of passes to an early screening of the new thriller Last Breath starring Woody Harrelson and Simu Liu in theaters February 28th. That's KFAN.com. Keyword contest to enter today.
Oftentimes you hear, it's a slogan we've had since the day KFAN took the airwaves. It's, your sports leader. The Common Man program is your misinformation leader. Apparently I had the wrong movie, the wrong actor, and the wrong piece of furniture he was sitting on. Remember I said, I think it was Bill Murray in Caddyshack who said he was laying on his couch and said, Barney Rubble, what an actor. And then, of course, on our Brad John Bryant KFAN text line, or as we like to call it, the Holla Hotline. Yeah. 64686 says, the Barney Rubble actor line is from Night Shift. It's not Bill Murray. It's a guy named Bob DiCicco. D-I space capital C-I-C-C-O. And he's not on a couch. He's watching TV at his desk in the office. But then again, I got a text from a pal of mine, Joe the ex-pro, that says he's down in Florida listening. He says the movie was Stripes. So I don't know which one it is. So there's a lot of misinformation going on around there, but that's all good. Also, some chili talk. This one says real chili does not have beans in it because chili is originally from Texas where there's plenty of meat. The only reason they started putting beans in chili is when the settlers crossed the U.S. back in the day and there was no beef, so they used beans as filler. Remember, I'm your misinformation leader. I'm taking that as gospel. It sounds good.
Sounds right, yeah.
So I'm going with it.
This guy's a chili aficionado.
So that's where it started. And then someone else said, y'all need to try white chili. Oh, I have. My wife made a white chili where it's chicken. And then there's there's white beans. I don't know what kind those are. They're white beans. And you have white beans, red beans, and black beans, just like the population of the world. You have all different kinds. But then it's got chicken. It's got a white sauce to it. My wife's made that a couple times, and that's just off the charts. So, I mean.
I'll have to try that. I've never had white chili.
No, you have to try it. It's really good. Well, my wife got her recipe from her mom. And then my stepmother, may she rest in peace, gave my wife a tip and said, throw a little brown sugar and a little nutmeg, I think, into your chili. Not a lot, but a little bit. So it kind of takes the edge off the spice. It makes it a little, so it's like sweet and spicy. If you took the beans out of my wife's chili, I'm not suggesting she would win a chili cook-off, but I got to think she could be best of show anyway. It's good stuff. It's really good stuff. Wanted to mention quickly before we do a peek at the purple that last night I attended the Hudson Hospital Foundation's donor appreciation event. The foundation raises money for their community hospital in Hudson. They invited their donors of last year, 2024, as a way to give them some thanks for their support, provided tours to the departments that they donated to. There's a cancer center and a birth center there. And I was invited because I donated a golfing outing. I do that for a lot of charities where, hey, silent auction, golf with the common man. I set up the golf. The charity gets the money. The guys that get the highest bid get to play golf with me. The golf course is generous enough to donate the tee times and the tee time in the carts.
You put the silent in silent auction because nobody bids on it.
Yes, exactly. And then I also don't talk very much when we're playing golf. I kind of keep to myself. And so anyways, everybody's happy, and then because it's a charity, the radio station allows me to thank the golf course as well. And it's a really small foundation. There's just 2 employees. 2.
Wow.
2 employees. Debbie and Erica. Debbie Major's the development officer there. She's the one that she came and saw Flop, Sweat, and Tears out at out at River Oaks.
Oh.
And then, she knew I donated this, so she asked me if I'd want to be there. And we're talking about it. I'm going to partner with them in the foundation and TRIA this fall for a community event focused on sports medicine. So more on that later. But it was delightful to be there. And how about this? They had cheese and sausage and crackers and all sorts of other hors d'oeuvres, right? I said, if you do this again tomorrow, I'll come again. And then they also had pie from Perkins, and they gave me an entire apple pie from Perkins. So we had a good time. So I just wanted to say it's a thankful Thursday yesterday, and it was great to be there for the Hudson Hospital Foundation. Affordable Electric brings us our peek at the purple. Winter is... I know it seems like it's going to be gone, but still you can count on Nick and Teresa to help keep you warm. They do fixed electric baseboard heaters, fan-forced heaters, and in-floor heat mats and cables. They'll also keep your pipes from bursting as well by heating those up. So if you need any electrical need, they're also your old home specialist. Go with Affordable Electric. It's easy to find them, affordable-electric.com. Affordable Electric, shockingly affordable! Couple of... here's a Vikings note here. And again, these are these rumors that you never know how much stock you should put into them. This is from the Sporting News. Lions starter predicted to leave Detroit for expected $40 million deal with the Vikings.
Ooh.
Start of 2025 NFL, Ryan O'Leary writes the piece. He says, the start of the 2025 NFL free agency is now just weeks away, and the Vikings are currently without a defensive secondary. They're also without an interior offensive line, an interior defensive line, a quarterback that has a lot of experience, because I think Darnold's going so. But otherwise, they're close.
Otherwise, they're great.
They're really good. Longtime starting safety Harrison Smith is in a state of flux with retirement or another contract restructure on the table. There could be a bidding war for top CB Byron Murphy Jr., right? There will be a bidding war, I think, for him. He's scheduled to hit free agency fresh off a Pro Bowl season with 6 picks. Star safety Cam Bynum and corners Steph Gilmore, Shaq Griffin, and Fabian Moreau are all pending free agents. Vikings are projected to have just north of $61 million, blah, 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 blah. Here's what it says. Wait, where'd it go? I'm spinning back. Here it goes. Ben Rolfe of Pro Football Network believes the Vikings will pass on a potential overpay for Murphy Jr. with an eye on more savvy moves, similar to the Steph Gilmore deal last spring. Rolfe recently predicted the Vikings to sign Detroit Lions veteran Carlton Davis.
Oh.
Who Spot Rack? Spotrac projects will land a 3-year deal worth over $40 million. Now, again, these are rumors, predictions. Is it clickbait? Do people, because, I could throw out anything. I could say, here's what I think the Vikings are going to do. My sources tell me they're going to trade J.J. McCarthy to a quarterback-hungry team for their first-round pick next year, this upcoming year's second-round pick, and a fourth-round pick. And then the Vikings are going to take those draft picks and put them with the ones they have now. And then quarterback whisperer, they'll sign Justin Fields because he's the quarterback whisperer. Right? Everybody believes that no matter who you put with KOC, he's going to get them to meld their eyes and their feet and turn them into a star. And I got ripped for that idea, but it really does make sense because if he's that good at developing quarterbacks, and Fields was highly regarded.
Yeah.
Right? And if
elite athlete.
And if O'Connell can do with Fields what he did with Darnold, you've got your franchise quarterback. You got 4 more picks, and Fields is only making $6 or $7 million a year. I mean, it's simply genius. But of course, people can't wrap their arms around. So I got ripped by most people, include Rosen, a lot of listeners. There was a couple others that said that's genius because I think outside the box. But I could say I heard that and go, oh, where did you hear that from? So I don't know. But the Carlton Davis guy can play. The only problem with him is he's injury riddled. Matter of fact, he broke his arm late in the season for Detroit. It might have been in, I think it was. They had so many guys on the injured reserve that I don't remember what the injury was, but I thought he broke his arm. But he's a hell of a player. So and the Lions would not be beneficial to lose him. But so we'll see if the Vikings do indeed go after a Carlton Davis. Peek at the Purple brought to you by Affordable Electric, affordable-electric.com. A couple of other things I want to get into with Max on the other side of the break. Lil B, 1 o'clock, Feminine Touch, and then Vaunt of KDWB, Muss of Cool. No, I was going to say cool country. It's not. It's today's country played yesterday and then tomorrow as well. It's K102's must. So all of that and more on the Common Man program on the Fan. They're playing Program Password. All that and more here on the Common Man program on the Fan.
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions.
It's over! Fly, Eagles, fly!
Celebrate the big win with the official licensed Super Bowl champions gear. Available now at NFLShop.com.
The Eagles win it! Super Bowl 59!
From jerseys to hats to must-have collectibles, we've got everything you need to rep your team with pride. Don't wait. These styles won't last. Shop now at NFLShop.com and gear up like a champion.
It's attorney time, and you can watch all the state championship action on 45 TV or by downloading the KSTP app on your smart TV, or head over to our contest page for your chance to win all sessions tickets for this weekend's girls hockey tournament to catch the action in person. That's KFAN.com. Keyword contest to enter.
Before the big game, all the talk was, could Kansas City become the first team in the Super Bowl era to three-peat, right? The Green Bay did it sort of, kind of. They won the last NFL championship before they added the big game. The big game was added that first year when they played Kansas City. So they'd won the NFL championship at like 65-66. Then they won the NFL championship again, played Kansas City, beat them, won the NFL again, and then played Oakland and beat them. So they'd won 3 in a row. And then we got into this whole streak thing, right? Different streaks by different teams, and some of these streaks were just incredible. There was the New York City yacht team, right? You know, the America's Cup.
Yeah.
They won it from 1862 to 2012 or something ridiculous like that. I'm exaggerating, but they won it for over every 4 years. Wow. They won. They just couldn't be beat. Then somebody though texted me and said, well, the reason was because there was a rule that whatever boat you used from wherever you were in the world, you couldn't transport it there. You had to actually sail it there. So these other ships had heavier boats so they could get through the high seas in case there was danger. So the United States already had a built-in advantage.
Genius.
They had a much lighter boat built of bamboo or something like that. The others are made of oak timbers, But here's another streak. Somebody sent me this, and I forgot to get to this, but I thought it raised some interesting issues. This says, I found another streak. Trinity College, maybe a small liberal arts college in New England, but it has a towering reputation in the world of squash. Trinity formed its first squash team in 1941. The director of athletics, Drew Galbraith, said, there aren't a lot of places where a particular sport program transcends the institution. Trinity Squash is one of those things. Listen to this. The men's team gained national attention for an unprecedented run of consecutive wins from February 1998 to January 2012.
Wow.
The team won 252 matches in a row.
What?
The longest winning streak in college sports history. So famous, it's now simply known as The Streak.
The Streak.
Just called The Streak. Ever heard the song The Streak?
I don't think I have. By who?
It's a novelty song. It's back when there was a time, did you know back in the early 70s, streaking was kind of the in thing to do. You would take off all your clothes and you would run across a football field. Happened at high school football fields. Somebody would get, to do some drinks and say, take off all your clothes and run across. And so they would just, butt cheeks flying, just running as fast as they could. So somebody, and I can't remember who the artist was, and they called him The Streak, and they go, or something like that. But it was anyways, novelty song. I didn't do it justice there. But anyways, 252 matches in a row. National media outlets followed the story, and the world soon came to know head men's squash coach Paul Asianti as the winningest college coach ever. And now people will dismiss this because, it's squash. And I know squash is a vegetable. Isn't it kind of like rugby and volleyball mixed together or something? I don't even know. But it's dodgeball.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like badminton and dodgeball combined, okay. I think. Players take turns hitting a small rubber ball against the walls. The goal is to make your opponent unable to return the ball.
Okay.
Oh, okay. That's squash. I've seen that in movies and stuff.
So, now I know most people would dismiss that as a real sport. It's more of a game or an activity, and it doesn't count. But it's college sanctioned.
Right.
The longest streak ever. He's the most winningest coach. Sorry, he just is. You can dismiss it if you want, because all you care about is football, basketball, and hockey. Maybe wrestling and stuff. Well, that's sorry. There are other sports do exist.
Right.
Whether you want to believe it or not. So congratulations to those
Patriots,
folks.
Eat your heart out. Lakers, Celtics, eat your heart out. This is the streak.
Yeah.
Also worth mentioning Joey Chestnut in that category as well.
You go.
The greatest American athlete of all time.
Now, I will admit, I'm not a big squash guy. As a matter of fact, if you're obsessed with squash, you got to be out of your gourd. Heyo. Heyo. Do you know who did that? Tennessee immediately would say, Maury Amsterdam guy, and it was. Maury Amsterdam guy likes to play on words kind of a thing. He likes to use. That's very good.
It is good.
I'll give him
You could say they squashed the competition.
Yes, they certainly did. They squashed the competition. Very good. Here's one. Tanner hiding his big face today, ashamed of his hockey team. Whoa. I think that's why he didn't come in today. Because the United States did lose an OT, right? And Connor McDavid is overrated. Apparently not. He had the game winner in overtime last night. So congratulations to the Canucks. Even though I suppose I'm not supposed to do that. And I look at I'm red, white, and blue all the way through. But it's just a hockey game. It's not like we're at war with them, right?
Right.
Of course, it looked like it in that first game. We had 3 fights in 9 seconds, which I still think might be a record. It was Michael Keaton in Night Shift, is what I'm being told. Michael Keaton in Night Shift. Cretin-Durham Hall went like 66 straight wins in high school baseball. It's not as good as 252.
No, but still pretty damn good.
Ray Stevens did the streak.
Ray Stevens
did the streak. Ray Stevens had a lot of those kind of
gimmick songs.
Yeah, novelty type songs, I think is what they called them. Hold on, I had another here that I wanted to where did it go? A lot of chili talk. There was another one that I wanted to get to that was more important to me at the time. Oh, yeah, here it is. This one says, I smoked dope in the parking lot right before school, went in and got called to the principal's office for leaving school at lunch, literally separate, but had a box, a double, I don't know what he's saying.
He might be smoking dope right now.
I think he's smoking dope right now.
I told you about the time that I went to school high, right?
I used to go every day. Every day.
I had to get wheelchaired out of school.
No.
Yeah.
You got some of that wacky today.
It was, have you ever heard of a gravity bong?
No.
It's like it's this weird, Bill Nye or Albert Einstein or some scientist must have invented it. You get a milk jug, an empty milk jug. You put a hole in the bottom of it and then fill it up with water. You burn the top of the cap so you can put something in the top of the cap, and then you light the top where the weed is as you let the water out. So as the water's leaving, the smoke is filling up.
Okay.
And it's supposed to, you get a really big high with just a little amount of weed. So it's perfect for when you're in high school.
Yeah. I would have just got to roll a package of zigzags, but go on.
Yeah. But this was like my second or third time smoking. And we were seniors, and there was some big test that we didn't have to take as seniors, so we got to come in late. So I was like trying to be cool with all my friends that have been smoking, and I was like, yeah, let's do it. I'll smoke before school. This is no big deal.
In the wheelchair.
I take the gravity bong, and at first I was having a good time, and then I'm sitting in the car, and I asked my friend, and I'm like, dude, can I just lay down in your back seat, man? Like, I don't even want to go into class. And he's like, no, dude, you gotta go into the building. You can't just sleep. So I go to my computer class, and I can hear every click on every single keyboard because I'm just so high. And I'm not used to it. It's only like my third time.
Yeah.
And then
I don't feel sorry for you, but go on.
No. Then somebody did some reply. I don't know if you ever heard the song "Where Is the Love" by the Black Eyed Peas, but I started crying because I'm just like, wow, where is the love, man? No. It's so beautiful. And
I think it was laced with something.
It must have been, because I was acting different, and my next class was with the guy that teaches the drug ed classes. So I was like, I can't go to class, so I'm just going to sit in the cafeteria and hang out. I thought I was there for 5 minutes. One of my friends comes up to me and they're like, Max, what are you still doing here? I'm like, what do you mean still? I've been here for 5 minutes. They're like, you've been here for 2 periods. I saw you at the beginning of second period. It's fourth period, and you're still sitting here. And so I was just like, and then a bunch of people kept coming up to me and asked me if I was like, okay. And I was like, guys, just stop. You're making a scene. And then the nurse came up to me and she's like, hey, is everything going on? Everything's all right? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. And I tried to stand up to show her I was fine. But my leg did a little stanky leg and they were a little wobbly. And so they literally brought a wheelchair out, and they wheelchaired me out of school because I was too high.
Did they bring you to the hospital then too?
No, they brought me to the nurse's office, and I think they knew. They just were like, so what's going on? And I was like, I don't know. I must have had a bad sandwich or something. I had the worst excuses.
You just, the truth of the matter is you just couldn't handle your dope.
I just couldn't handle it. I couldn't hang with the big dogs.
No, it sounds
I was
like
Scrappy-Doo when it came to hanging with the big dogs.
When I was in Forest Lake High School, like I say, and again, I'm not proud of any of this. I mean, if you ask people, you'll ask somebody like, have you ever asked somebody this question or had it asked of you? If you could go back and change anything, would you? And most people go, wouldn't change a thing. I'd change all kinds of things.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And that would be, I would never smoke dope. I'd never do drugs. I'd never drink. I'd never steal cars. No, I never stole a car. But I wouldn't do any of those things. I just wouldn't. I would have wanted to, I would have liked to have had a college experience. I think it would be cool. Yeah. I see what my boys are doing in college and go to the games and do this. It would have been fun to be part of a frat and do all this. But I never did all that because I tuned in, turned on, and dropped out because I was a Tim Leary, Hunter S. Thompson guy, right?
Right.
Just going the wrong direction.
Gonzo journalism.
Right, exactly. But I remember in high school, in Forest Lake. So my mom, because I was out of hand, she goes, maybe you ought to go live with your dad for a while out in Forest Lake. I go, yeah, okay, I'll do that. So I meet some guys right away, meet a couple of stoners, right? We're in the car, it's like school's on right now. So we're just out in the car and we're, and all of a sudden, I'm not making this up. I'm in the back. There's 4 of us. Guy in the driver's seat, guy in the passenger seat, riding shotgun. There's 2 of us in the back seat. I'm behind the driver. And that side of the car is facing the school, right? So we're not pointed at it. It's the left side of the car pointing to school. Look up, and here's the principal coming toward the car. And all of a sudden we go, whoa, it's Middleton. I'm not making this up. The guy starts the car. It's winter, so it's hard to get going on the parking lot.
Yeah.
The assistant principal grabs the door handle, mine. My face is this close to his. He's looking in the window. Now, he don't know who I am because I've only been there like a week.
Yeah.
And I'm staring at him like this, and he's holding onto the handle, and he's skating alongside the car because he's trying to get into the car as the guy's taking off with the snow-packed parking lot, and he finally has to let go, and then we take off. We're all going, whoa, wow! I'm going, man, he was face looking right at me, man. So then I thought I was in trouble because but they never
found out.
No, they never knew who we were,
wow.
Where we've been, where we're going, where we're at. Yeah, we used to just do that stuff. What a waste of time.
God, that's hilarious, though.
So that's where my life was at. Sad, really. The other thing is, you know what I figured out? It was announced yesterday that Wembanyama.
Oh, yeah.
He's got that
thrombosis or something.
And we were talking about it yesterday with Rosen. And it's pretty serious. It
kind of sounds like it.
Well, I didn't realize how serious it was until somebody sent me an email at comment@kfan.com and reminded me of television news correspondent David Bloom. Okay? Mm-hmm. I don't know if you recognize the name. David Jerome Bloom, he was from Edina. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Was an American television journalist, co-anchor of Weekend Today and reporter until a sudden death in 2003 after a deep vein thrombosis became a pulmonary embolism, and he died at age 39.
My God.
He left behind a wife and 2 kids. He had been on an assignment in Iraq for several weeks when a blood clot in his leg, deep vein thrombosis, traveled to an artery in his lungs, causing a fatal pulmonary embolism. The clot in Bloom's leg was likely brought on by spending long days and nights cramped inside armored vehicles, because he was embedded as a journalist. Mm-hmm. And I think I read I found a story. Someone sent me a story, and in one of the last things he talked to his wife about is he was actually spread out on one of the vehicles on the hood because he was trying to stretch his legs because they hurt so bad, and then he died from this. Oh. And so then you look at, I'm not saying that I think Wembanyama is going to die from this, but it's obviously really serious. When you have thrombosis, first thing I think it's some kind of orchestra instrument, like a thrombosis or something. So I don't know. I don't know how serious it is. Then you do a deep dive into it. No wonder it's so freaky, because that's why he's out for the year. Yeah. So I don't know. I my guess is because they've caught it, he'll be fine. But that's crazy stuff. But
it's insane. And naturally, just the nature of the disease or the ailment, it just came out of nowhere.
Yeah, it came out of nowhere from being cramped. So you got a clot, and
it makes sense when you're that big too.
Let me ask you a question. You watched SNL 50?
I did.
I did not. I know that I kind of live in the past, and I've always suggested, and of course, I get it. I've never watched Saturday Night Live since the original troupe of players, and I claim they were the best. And people say, we haven't watched any of the others, so how would you know? And I go, well, if you've seen the best, I just know, right? But anyway, that was with Belushi and Aykroyd and Curtin and Gil Radner and Garrett Morris and all the rest, and Chevy Chase, right?
Right.
But I've heard there was others. We talked about this before on the air. There was a group with it was Farley, Rock, Sandler, and who else? So that
David Spade was around that time. Dana Carvey,
so
probably.
There was a who's who, and I'm sure. My response to somebody who sent me that was, I get that, but I wonder if the writing, because so much of it's not so much the people on the staff, or what am I trying to say? The
actors,
and actresses. It's not so much them, but it's what kind of material do you have to work with? Because you can be brilliantly funny, but if you got bad material, if the writing's not very good, and even in the heyday of the original Saturday Night Live, it wasn't like every single sketch was brilliant. Sometimes you go, it's not that funny, guys, or at least for some people, it strikes them differently.
For sure.
But I was interested. It was a 3-hour show, and they did some musical bits. So, and as I'm spinning through my handheld computer, which doubles as a communication device with all the news stories that pop up, I see 2 separate stories. One about Paul McCartney's performance, and one about Paul Simon's performance. So I decided, well, you know what? Let's see what and I'm a Beatles guy, that, and but I've walked out of a McCartney concert before because it was just like, okay, you're doing the exact same set I saw the last time with the exact same stage rap. Between songs, he was saying the exact same things he did 3 years before at Target Field.
So just mail it in, just Friday.
So it's like, well, I've seen this, and that's good. So I left. It was indoor over at the old Civic Center. I guess now it's called the Fuse Box. His voice was just gone, man. There was just nothing there, right?
Right.
And there were people on the comment section that were, giving him a pass, saying, well, look, he's 82. He's been on the road because he's still touring. He's 82 years old, and he's just come off another 3, and I think he's touring all during 2025. And I get that. I'm not saying he shouldn't be allowed to perform, but I don't want to see him like that, man. I'd rather just remember when his voice was pure back in the old, I want to hold your head, back in the olden days,
Yeah, I don't blame you.
And then, Seb, did you agree that his voice?
Yeah, it was tough. You could tell, like on a song like Golden Slumber, that the emotion was still there.
Right.
But he just didn't have the voice to back it up anymore. And it still is like, I think we're all still in awe just to see him still performing, just to see him still physically, on the stage. And that was cool, and it obviously adds some credence to how big of this deal is of SNL turning 50 years old. But at the same time, yeah, it's very obvious that he doesn't have it anymore. Doesn't have it nearly as close as he used to.
So very much Saquon Barkley like Charch said in the preposterous statement tournament that he's toast. He's all done. Well, then I stumbled across Paul Simon. He performed there too, right? And he was with Sabrina Carpenter. And I recognized the name, but I'd never heard her sing that I'm aware of. Sometimes if something's playing in the overhead speakers here at the radio station, it changes all 6 of our stations play on it, switches every 10 minutes or so. I may have heard her. I had no idea who she was. She's on Paul. And Paul Simon's the same thing. It's just like, this ain't the You Can Call Me Al days or the Sound of Silence days, man. This is just like and he'd actually stopped playing for a while because he's like deaf in one ear. Yeah. And he hasn't done anything in 7 years, and now he's going back on tour.
They'll be here 3 nights.
Yeah. I don't think he's doing big arenas, right? I mean,
Orpheum, yeah.
Yeah, so he's doing the smaller, because that's, I think, all he can pull off is because he's probably got to sing really quiet. But another thing it was painful. I couldn't even listen to the entire song. They were doing Homeward Bound.
Yeah.
And
it was tough. I think even there was like a little people caught in the background of one of the shots that he needed. I think it was Paul Simon that needed some help even standing up to get in the shot. And it's hard to see.
Well, you know what I figured out? It's taken me a while to figure out. And then you got, Rod Stewart still touring. You saw him not long ago, right? A few years ago or whatever.
And he was great for the most part. He very clearly was saving his voice at times for
the big ones.
The big songs, the big hits. But he did kind of like we were talking about off there. He had a bunch of bits, like he'd let the saxophone guy come up and do a solo for a couple minutes, or someone would pull up with the harp. Yeah, he'd go do a little costume change. So he still had the showbiz to keep the show moving and kind of put other people's strengths in place of his weaknesses. But yeah, there was definitely times where you could hear it. Janet Jackson too, when I saw her recently, it was like, ugh. Yeah, she doesn't quite have it like she used to.
And then, but now I hear the opposite with Jagger. They say that he still can pound. Now, I saw the Stones once during the Steel Wheels tour. This was so long ago, we still had a Metrodome. Okay, that's how long ago it was. It was like 1980, 81, or 82. 99. When did we tear we built the Metrodome in 80. So it was, I think it was 1990. Steel Wheels in 94, 95, I think. Anyway. He's playing at 82 and all these Stones guys. And I'm thinking to myself, why do these guys still want to perform at that age, right? And I finally figured out what it is as I start creeping toward, I got more behind me than ahead of me, right? Mm-hmm. And you start thinking, because I had planned to retire when I was 65. The day I turned 65, I was going to be done. So, and I'm sure there's so many people right now going, why didn't you just quit? Right?
89, by the way.
The 89. Mm-hmm. The people that don't like the common man. Right? And I get that. That's fine. But I ain't going anywhere. But you do start thinking, well, then what would I do? Just sit in the house? I mean, I got 3 hours a day to kill. So what am I going to do? Take a nap and play bingo? So the McCartneys, the Simons, the Jaggers, the Keith Richards, these guys, I think what it is just like, I just don't want to sit in the living room of my house and wait to die. Because that's what you're doing, right? When you're 82, if you're being realistic, it's like Wild Bill Bauer, the late Wild Bill Bauer, before he was able to do comedy full-time to make a living. He had to supplement his income, and he worked at Coon Rapids Chrysler Plymouth as a car sales guy. And an 80-year-old guy came in one day, and Billy looked at him and said, look, let's face facts. This is the last car you're ever going to buy, so you may as well get it loaded. And the guy did. He got everything on
genius.
It. That's genius. That's true. So it's like, I just don't think Mick and those guys want to sit on a couch and just, watch the sun come up and then watch the shadows in the living room as the sun goes all the way from east to west and another day on the calendar and go, well, I'm one more day closer to dying.
Right.
Because it is kind of depressing to think about sitting inside the house.
I think about getting old, and that's the part that scares me the most, is just every day you wake up, you're like, well, this could be the last one. And I got to imagine it's hard to give up all that adulation, especially for someone like Paul McCartney, who's been getting it. I mean, he's been famous for longer than he hasn't.
Yes, that's correct. And so I guess the moral of the story is they're going to have to pry my cold, dead, rigor mortis laden lips off this microphone.
Yes, sir.
I'm not going anywhere.
Talk about it.
Yeah, talk about it.
Of course, tell it, baby.
I've been there, man. I've been there. Now, here's the problem. Guys like you tend to be JG, Nordo, Brett Blakemore probably waiting for me to keel over and go, noon to three's open now. Here we go.
Time to pry that mic out of those hands.
We miss him. We feel bad, but get him out of the studio before he starts to rot. Right?
Right.
Smell something funny? When I die, when I feel like I'm going to die, I'm going to hide in my worst enemy's basement. Smell something funny, dear? Wild Bill Bar.
Genius.
Lil B, Feminine Touch of the program. She joins us next here on the Common Man program on the Fan.
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions.
It's over! Fly, Eagles, fly!
Celebrate the big win with the official licensed Super Bowl champions gear. Available now at NFLshop.com.
The Eagles win it! Super Bowl 59!
From jerseys to hats to must-have collectibles, we've got everything you need to rep your team with pride. Don't wait. These styles won't last. Shop now at NFLshop.com and gear up like a champion.
This Saturday, February 22nd at 1:30 p.m. Eastern, it's the Pro Volleyball Federation's first All-Star match. The league's biggest stars will clash in a can't-miss event hosted in the Indy metro area, home of the Indy Ignite. Catch every serve, spike, and save live on CBS. Don't miss this historic showdown of volleyball's finest. The Pro Volleyball Federation All-Star Match, this Saturday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern on CBS. Be there.
It is Ryan Seacrest here. There was a recent social media trend which consisted of flying on a plane with no music, no movies, no entertainment. But a better trend would be going to ChumbaCasino.com. It's like having a mini social casino in your pocket. Chumba Casino has over 100 online casino-style games, all absolutely free. It's the most fun you can have online and on a plane. So grab your free welcome bonus now at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.